Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. You be peace. Assalam Allah. Peace to the gods and goddesses. Peace to the gods and earths. Hotep, shalom. Whatever way you want to say it. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us that peace is a universal greeting which only the righteous abide by willingly. Beloved, today we're going to dwell into a little brief question. I want y'all to look at this. And I don't mean no disrespect to, say, our brown, yellow, red, or white brothers and sisters out there in the struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. I'm speaking as a conscious black man, a black nationalist, a student follower of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, mighty FOI, fruit of Islam. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us in plain language. I know a lot of people don't really grasp this part of the messenger's message in this age of mess, but he teaches us plainly the black man is God. Now that sounds kind of crazy to the world at large right now, because for the most part we have been programmed and we have been under warmongers for the past 6,000 years. I mean, and the colonization of Africa and Arabia and China and India and Australia and the islands and even the Arctic and Antarctic regions of the planet, including Europe, has made the world fall under the spell of Dr. Yaqub's children, Satan, Shaitan, the jinn. But some of the poor righteous teachers, some of the conscious brothers in the struggle are a little confused on this subject. So I want to just add a little clarity to this subject. It deals with this premise. Did the universe make the black man, or did the black man make the universe? You'll hear different aspects of this, different manifestations of this, different answers of this, different types of jargon is used to juxtapose different positions on this concept. But I want to make it crystal clear. The universe did not make black men. Black men made the universe. Now you may wonder how, when, and if time was to permit itself, I could go into that freestyle. But I went into all that in like countless lectures, sermons, books over the past 40 years. For those of you that know, those of you who don't, you could read my book, The 24 Sparks, the chapter on which came first, the mind or the man, and it gives you a vicious dissertation on that and explain it to you in details. But I don't want to get into that today. I want to just give you a basic premise, just to echo some of the life-giving teachers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because when it comes to the truth, the messenger already taught it. I can't teach you no new truth. All I could do is echo what Messenger Elijah Muhammad taught, if it's the truth, all right? The messenger teaches us that the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Think that over for a moment. Did he teach us that the black man is the God from the universe? Or did he teach us that the black man is the God of the universe? And what is the difference? Of basically means a part or a feature, a manifestation from the higher self, if you will, in spiritual science. From means a place of origin. You see? So you have a lot of people say out of Africa. You see? As though that's a scientific concept. You know, I don't want to get sidetracked by, you know, the premise that we're focusing on today. But of course, there's a so-called war taking place right now over in Israel and Palestine. And I mean, you know, when you do the math, you'll see how what's really happening is the 10%, the rich, the slave makers of the poor, once again, use Jacob's law of divide and conquer and got everybody fighting and arguing, killing each other, as they do all over the planet Earth. Now, I mean, you know, it's like, as an original man, it's depending on what period or what kingdom you're looking at or what his story you're looking at, Palestine is nothing but black people's land. Nothing but black folks' land. Over time, the Pale Arabs came down there, the Turkish Ottoman Empire did that thing and conquered it, colonized it, stole it. I mean, got the sisters pregnant, produced lighter babies, and eventually some bigger devils came from Britain and did the same thing. Two wrongs don't make a right. They're all wrong in my opinion, personally. But you know, when Britain was getting so much money and carving up the planet that, and you know, using capitalism, imperialism to take over the whole world basically at the time, you know what I mean? They ain't had time to worry about no little piece of land like Palestine. But if you look at Palestine, location to Kemet or Egypt, you can see why there's some dark-skinned folks up in there. When you study the actual pictures and footage of the earliest Palestinians, you see they were people of color. But as time went on, you know, the powers that be, you know, they eventually formed what we call today the UN. And when we say the United Nations or the UN, they are part and parcel of capitalism and pluralism too. So of course, you know, the non-permanent members that pay the bills, they really run that. Now I mean, it's like you know, the poorer nations really don't have no voice, even though they say it's democracy, they vote and all this other stuff. If America, Russia, or China, or Britain, or Japan is again, they be like, forget what they thinking, forget what they saying, forget what they want to do. Now I mean, and it's like, I don't, you know, I'm not a supporter of Hamas. I'm not a supporter of any form of what you would call aggression. I mean, I do believe in self-defense. I do understand that poor Palestinians are sincerely in a struggle because some rich people outside their land came together and said, look, we're going to take these other poor people that's called Jews and plant them in their homeland and run them out of there and take over. Of course you're going to cause chaos. Now, I mean, you know, imagine somebody trying to do that to the United States or China or Russia. They, you know, you see Putin over there now because he's like, that's my territory. You know, China and them be looking at, oh, Taiwan is our territory. You know, it's like that water is our water. You know, so all nations want to protect their borders. I mean, the Mexicans owned this land. The European powers came over, did what they did, took it over, set up boundaries, and now they saying this is Texas and this is our border and y'all can't come on this part of the land that y'all used to own because we now own it and y'all are the aliens even though we invaded y'all land. So it's a lot of contradictions and hypocrisy and all this stuff. Now, I mean, and we'll be here all day. But, suffice it to say, the message teaches us the devil is the devil regardless of place or time. And for the past 6,000 years, this is what has been going on. I mean, and it's going to take what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad called in How to Live. He said it's going to take wisdom to solve the problem. And the only way you're going to have wisdom come in and solve that is with justice, is with peace. They're going to have to beat their weapons into plowshares. They're going to have to turn the weapons into tools. They have to go from deconstruction to construction. They got to move from that position of evil to righteousness. I mean, that's how you have to do that. I mean, and do I believe it's going to happen? Peace always going to prevail. But in the interim of peace, there is chaos. There's that imbalance. And we got to try to get humanity back to get some people in there with some common sense. If someone's to ask me, in my personal opinion, what I think is going to happen personally, what I think and hope is going to happen from my rookie elementary analysis of the situation is, I think Israel's making a major mistake. I think that Israel is really underestimating the time. Now, the tactics back in the day, the carrot, the stick, using the iron fist in the silk glove type stuff, the velvet glove, that stuff might have worked back in, World War I, World War II, and things of that nature. There's skirmishes or whatever. But in this day and time, because of social media, the powers that be, like when I hear President Biden, like, we're siding with Israel, is that, I'm like, cool. But you're supposed to be like, we're siding with this. Like one of the wise things that I respected about President President George Bush, when there was a war against terror, he was like, listen, we gonna crush these terrorists. But we want the Muslims on earth to understand, we don't have a war against Islam. We're not using the shotgun effect. We're going to use the laser effect. We're not just going to come bomb a whole village with poor people in it, with women and children and people who ain't got nothing to do with Hamas and people that's just trying to eat and have medicine and live in peace. Now, you're talking Jews, Muslims, atheists, blacks, whites, young, old, rich, poor, they all in there. You can't just indiscriminately just like, oh, just blow it all up. We emotionally upset right now. Because the young Israelis, I'm talking the young Jewish Israelis, and the young Muslim, and some of them are Christian, some of them are atheists, the young Palestinians, they're not thinking like grandpa and grandma. They're not thinking with that old way of thinking. And they're going to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And what's going to start happening, hopefully, is all those that have common sense. And there's more people out there with common sense than people realize. There's a lot of people that understand, like, yeah, Hamas is wrong. You can't be knocked down again. You can't just indiscriminately be killing people. Like, come on, that's not even, that's not even the Islamic mythology right there. But you can't be taking people's land and marginalizing people and oppressing people and subjugating them under your domain in the name of Yahweh or Jehovah and none of that either. So it's like you gotta call a spade a spade. You gotta give credit where credit is due, and check those that's just out of pocket. And I believe, I got confidence in today's youth, not just in Palestine and Israel per se, but just the youth of the world. They're tired of these warmongers all over the planet. All over the planet. They understand that a lot of politicians, not all of them, but a lot of politicians do things for political expediency. They trying to get money. Now, I mean, they be like, all right, we going to do this. And when the smoke clear, we're going to take some more land and we're going to build new corporations on that land. And we're going to get paid and laugh all the way to our own bank. It's like, come on, it's greed. It's imperialism. Now, I mean, but the people are waking up. They're becoming conscious. Now, I mean, so, you know, that's that. Now, I mean, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know, was a visionary. He stood for the oppressed of the world. Now, I mean, he understood that in 1948, the Zionists did an injustice, but the Zionists is not all the blame. You got to understand the role the UN played and the role the UN did not play. You got to understand the role Britain played and the role Britain did not play. Now, I mean, so it was gangsters in the background that set all that stuff up, set and sparked and set it off. Now, I mean, and it's sad, pathetic. Now, I mean, I pray within and work without for the peace in the universe, because by nature, we're peace. Now, I mean, peace is not just a universal greeting which only the righteous abide by willingly, but peace is actually the nature of the original people. So back to this, did the universe make man, or did man make the universe? Our ancestors, way before any organized religion, way before Islam, Buddhism, Taoism, Jainism, Catholicism, Christianity, Judaism, whatever you want to call it, they basically taught us the principles of the universe. And one of those principles was the principle of mentalism. Now, the principle of mentalism, or the science of the mind, if you will, everything is the mind. Everything is just a manifestation of energy. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. All right? That's what modern scientists define it as, energy. We didn't call it energy in antiquity, but for this day and time, the scientists, they're comfortable with that concept and that term, that hypothesis and theology and that jargon. Let's call it energy. It's a good term. It fits, you know, but it's synonymous with what the spiritual sciences or the so-called religions call the creator or the God, whatever name you want to call God. He, she, it, they, whatever. God can't be created nor destroyed. We in the nation of Islam simply says, if you think about it, just as you have energy that has all these attributes, the creator has the exact same attributes. The mind has the exact same attributes. But when we say the original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe, we're not saying God from the universe. The from represents a place of origins. Let me give you an example. Say you had a log cabin, you know, like we're in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a state that's, 300 by 150 miles, 45,000 square miles. It's woods. William Penn got it because the king owed his father some money. But long story short, they came over here and took it from the Native American Indians, the original people, the black people and the red people that was living here already. But it's woods, all right? It's trees. It's full of logs. So human beings by nature build according to the essence of the earth that they live upon. Like a bird in a tree going to take little branches and make a nest and make a house. The ants in the ground going to take grains of the ground and make a colony out of that. fish in the water going to live in the water. I mean, so if you're in the woods, you're going to be like, well, it's trees, I'm going to make a tree house. I mean, if I'm in the mud, I'm going to make mud bricks and build houses out of mud. If I live in the prairies and the grasslands, I'm going to cut some grass down and make me some grass huts and live in the. If I'm around camels, I'm going to skin the camels and make me some tents and live inside a camel tent. Now, I mean, this is just the nature of how human beings, even if you went all the way to the coldest part of the planet and they living in the snow, they gonna I'm gonna take the snow and make some blocks out of the snow and build me an igloo, and I'm gonna make a house out of snow. All right. So that's what things do intuitively, instinctively. That's the nature of building in the universal order of things. All right. So if you have a log cabin, you have to say, well, what is this house made of? This log cabin is made of logs. Synonymous with trees. You say, you'd be like, okay, well, this is a tree, and I'm gonna take the tree and stack this tree, split it, connect this tree to this tree. I'm gonna put some type of sealant in there. It could be whatever. Maybe I got some mud and some sand, some crushed rocks, some mortar, and some clay, and I don't want cold draft to get in there. So I'm gonna make me a log cabin out of logs. Okay. Now, when you do that, it's different than something being made from something. See, when you make something from something, you're taking away that natural essence. You see, now you're getting into a grafted form. You're getting into a chemical form. Let's take a chemical form, because this is 2023. Now, I mean, we know that dope is not made of poppies. Dope is made from poppy seeds or poppy. Okay? So that's the difference. The dope is made from the poppy, but the dope is not made of the poppy. There's a difference. The log cabin is made of logs, but the log cabin is not made from logs. It actually, by nature, is logs. All right? We could say religion of God. And in this instance, it could be the same, because you could say religion from God. So it's about putting it in this proper context in that type of instance or situation, if you will. Now, I mean, we say the black man is not from God. The black man is of God. The black man is God, period. In our student enrollment, number 1, when we say, who is the original man? We say the original man, or the original man, is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Meaning that everything that's in the universe, every atom, every element that's out there is in you. Every element, I don't care what it is, every atom that makes up the sun, hydrogen, helium, carbon, and your body is hydrogen. If you grab a hand of dirt and it's gold and iron and silver in the dirt, there's gold and iron and silver in your blood, in your bones, and your very atomic essence. Everything that is outside of you is in you. This is why we say that the black man is the God of the universe, meaning that when there was no universe, there was still the black man. Scientists will tell you, when there was no universe, there was still energy. Our Sunni brothers and sisters, our Christian brothers and sisters, our Jewish brothers and sisters, our Hebrew brothers and sisters, our Buddhist, our Hindu, our Taoist brothers and sisters, our Afrocentric brothers and sisters will tell you, when there was no universe, God already was. The creator already was. Ra already was. Amun already was. The Noon already was. The Buddha, the Krishna, the Jesus, the Yahweh, whatever they, different people have different things, different nuances, more technical terms, what have you. But whatever, we're speaking English, a bastard language, a mixture of all this stuff. But the general point is, before there was a universe, there was God. In the Nation of Islam, we say the same thing, just in a different way. Before there was a universe, there was the mind of the black man. We didn't have 5 fingers yet. Some of us have 6, 8, 10 fingers. We didn't have 2 eyes. Some of us is born without eyes. We didn't have 2 ears. Some people are born without eardrums. Some babies don't have a mouth at all. Some babies born with 1 eye. Okay? So I'm not talking just on that low vibration of just the physical plane. The physical can manifest in any mathematical form, any possibility that you can imagine. The universe produces it. A man with 4 arms, no legs, no teeth, 2 sets of teeth, 2 holes or nares in it, 3 holes in his nose, 3 ears. At some point in time, nature already did it, is doing it, or it will be done. Because Islam is mathematics, and mathematics is Islam. The ancient black god, one of our scientists known as Tahuti, commonly known or mistranslated as Thoth. I mean, a lot of people try to make Thoth some type of alien or spook and spirit or mystery god of the Emerald Tablets. But Thoth was a human being, a black man, 100% human being, just like any other black man. If you seen Thoth walking down the street, you'd be like, oh, that's brother so-and-so. Or that's Steve. That's brother Hassan. That's brother so-and-so. He's a black man. I mean, walking on the planet Earth. The Greeks, they consider him thrice great, or they like, yo, this is the God of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Like, this the man working with the 360. I mean, they knew, yo, this black man is God. I mean, and from that black paragon or that example, they produce all these Caucasian or white versions. That's what they're supposed to do. Now, I mean, the Elijah Muhammad teaches us that imitation is the highest form of flattery. So we, you don't get mad because you see somebody. The original man originates so that others can copy. All right, Hermes Trismegistus or Tahuti or Thoth or whatever. He's known by a whole bunch in the Tahuti. He was a regular, ordinary human being. What made him unique is his consciousness. His brain literally just was vibrating on a higher level of consciousness. Allah, God, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, teaches us that we have 7 mind dimensions, or 7 dimensions to our mind. The physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the soul, the self, and the will. The will is the highest plane, okay? So when we say of, we're not saying from. We're making a distinction because we're going to the very nature of the original man. The original man has that original spark. Some call it energy, some call it the light, some call it the halo around the head of the angels, consciousness, uh, energy, whatever nomenclature. It's like some of those terms I really disagree with. I mean, because they don't really do justice to what we're really trying to say, but we use it sometimes because we're just trying to convey an idea. I mean, information conceived mathematically multiplied by information received equals clarity. So I'm just trying to give you some clarity on the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But remember, only the messenger's message will guide you through this age of mess. The struggle continues. Peace, family. One love. Honeycrisp apples. Shallots, whole garlic, 2 pounds, $6. 2 pounds of ginger. I don't like these hybrid giant gingers. Things really should be small like the Indian ginger. Garlic. We got the breadfruit on $1.50 per pound. Pure sugar cane. That's one batch, $5.50. Shout out to Darwin, Jamaica. These giant grafted apples, I would never mess with nothing like that. Anything on that's a forbidden fruit. They got cantaloupes for $3.50, honeydew melons for $4. Pineapples only $2. Pomegranates, 2-piece, $2. Granny Smith's, grandma used to have them. Good bacon apples. 3 pounds for $2.50, pretty cheap. I don't like these watermelons because they're seedless. Eat to live, not to die. Even that flowers is dirt cheap. Bundle roses only $14, $8 for a dozen. And beautiful flowers. Nice and sweet. Indoor mums, $5. So we just got all that nutritious stuff. It's like 5 bags of produce, fruits and vegetables, and it only came to $26. If we went to our local supermarket like Acme or Giant or something like that there, it probably would have been like $70 to $100. You know what I mean? So check out your farmers markets, the local farms, and produce junction type places if you can't grow your own fruits and vegetables. The struggle continues. Just got back. We put the potatoes and onions inside of the wooden bin. You keep them cool in there. Make sure you keep the lid down, keep it dark. They'll last for at least a month or 2. But you want that good cool air and ventilation. You don't want no moisture in there. And I would say every week or so, just come in there and check on them, make sure no mold or bacteria is getting on any of them and just anything like that, because it could have had a spore before you put them in there. Eat to live, not to die. Okay, so we put the citrus fruits in there. We just got your traditional oranges, some lemons, and grapefruits. You know what I mean? In the wintertime, in the fall, you need that vitamin C. What I do, you could take these, you could eat them raw, you could take them, peel them, put them in a blender, put a bottle of spring water in there. We got 4 of these for $2, so you get a half gallon of pure grapefruit juice for $2. Okay, we got these crisp apples. Now, when it comes to these apples, you see that brown stuff going around the edge of the apple where the navel cord or the stem connected this to the tree, like a baby is connected by the umbilical cord to his umi or his mother. This is B12. This helps your central nervous system and your brain to properly vibrate. Let those thoughts vibrate or travel 24 billion miles per second. It's food of the gods. Okay, now, when it comes to the cabbage, I got these because it was so cheap, actually. Got 2 heads of this cabbage, look, $2.50. And 2 pounds of tomatoes on the vine for only $2. We've been had the raw garlic. We keep that raw garlic in the house. But when it comes to the red cabbage has more what they call anthocyanin in it. That's the natural antioxidant pigment, the anti-cancer properties of it. That red color, you know what I mean, like red potatoes and things of that nature there. Where that's not the white cabbage, as the Honorable Muhammad pointed out to us. White cabbage are delicious too, and they're healthy too. In fact, the white cabbage actually has more vitamin A than the red cabbage. The white cabbage helps with the vision, your hair and skin. So this is more like a medicine for the cancer, and the white cabbage is good for the overall health. Now these red tomatoes, we want to take all this out of the plastic. They can't breathe. These fruits and vegetables are alive. Just imagine somebody putting plastic on your head. I understand Produce Junction do this just to save time, because you can't have a bunch of people putting their dirty hands all on products, you know what I mean? So I appreciate the plastic. But basically, you take it out of the plastic when you get it. You want them to breathe, even though they got little breathable holes on it. Something like tomatoes, you want to take this plastic completely off. You know what I mean? Plastics actually pollute the planet, and these red tomatoes, they actually, the ones that you see connected by the vine, let them stay on the vine because they still alive, they still growing, and it's actually scientifically, mathematically. You don't want to put tomatoes in the refrigerator. You want to leave them out actually at room temperature. They do better at room temperature. They earth fruits. Is anything with a seed in it is a fruit. So this is actually a fruit. And what you want to do is, like, see how we got a rack? You really want to just, instead of having the tomato on the side, you want to store a tomato with the stem face down. That helps preserve the natural juices and the taste, as well as the texture. It'll keep that firmness, it'll keep that tomato fresher longer. Know what I mean? And you eat that tomato raw. Know what I mean? When it comes to things like the cabbages and all that, you don't want to boil them or overcook them, even though fried cabbage is delicious. It's better just to steam the cabbage, to slightly steam it. You know what I mean? You want to always wash your produce, sad to say, in this day and time, regardless of where it came from. You want to make sure you wash it off real good. And as the message teaches us, how to eat to live and stop eating to die. This is what we need, especially us brothers with high blood pressure and high cholesterol and obesity. Get that fresh fruits and vegetables in you. Now, I mean, I still eat my little processed junk, but I don't overdo it, and I don't eat that stuff deli. You know what I mean? So make sure you get some good food in you for good things and good results. And when it comes to these bananas, I don't eat a lot of bananas, but they have their goodness. But what I do is I take and wrap this stem up inside the saran wrap to help keep it fresh longer. And you take, I don't even know where I got these hooks, probably from like Home Depot or the Dollar Tree or something. But you take the bananas and just hang them on there instead of letting your bananas sit on a surface. Let them hang. Hanging bananas by nature, they do hang on a banana plant. And another thing is, we usually don't buy a bunch of fruits and vegetables because usually what would happen is they'll go spoiled. But I intentionally bought all this because the prices were so cheap and the Feds raised the interest rates. And anytime you get a good sale, take advantage of it. In the worst case scenario, you can always freeze fruits and vegetables. You can take, say, the peeling off these bananas and put them in a container and just freeze them and use them for baking or what have you. Just take them out, froze them, let them sit out for like 15 minutes, 30 minutes. When they thaw out, just eat them like that in the winter season. You can preserve them like the MGTs teach you. The romaine lettuce. I mix up my different lettuces. Sometimes I'll get romaine, sometimes we'll get baby spinach, spring mix, what have you. Any good lettuce, you want that raw green in your body. But the romaine, I like the romaine because the romaine contains like 16 milligrams of calcium, 11 milligrams of the vitamin C, and 116 milligrams of potassium, which I've been eating. So this is like taking your vitamins when you had this raw food. So as the ancient scientists of ancient Kemet, Imhotep of Black Egypt explained, let food be your medicine and let your medicine be your food. Peace.